Christmas is just a few days away. And for many of us, Christmas 2020 is going to be different from other years. With the financial hardships this year, there will be less shopping and fewer presents because there's just less money to go around. And because of the health precautions associated with the coronavirus, there will likely be less travel this year for Christmas. Many of us will not be able to be physically present with our families in order to reduce the spread of the virus. And some will actually be spending Christmas under quarantine. I know what that's like. It's kind of quiet. And there will be fewer social gatherings, parties, activities, and crowds. And because of all those factors, we have a chance this year to observe Christmas in a different way. Instead of a Christmas that is crowded, frenzied, expensive, and exhausting, this year we have the opportunity to try something beautiful, a contemplative Christmas. So here are some suggestions of how we might do that, how we might have a more contemplative Christmas this year. First of all, I recommend setting aside some time on Christmas to sit and read 4 chapters from the Bible. That is, the first 2 chapters of the Gospel of Luke and the first 2 chapters of the Gospel of Matthew. It's only about 7 or 8 pages total. I also recommend looking at a nativity scene with all the various figures: Mary, Joseph, the baby Jesus in the manger, the adoring shepherds, the angel, the 3 wise men, and the animals, and whatever other figures might be in that nativity set. Now, if you don't have access to a nativity set, maybe you could just draw one, because this is for the sake of your own reflection and prayer. And as you're reading those chapters, the first 2 chapters of Luke and the first 2 chapters of Matthew, and as you're gazing upon the figures in the scene of the nativity set, imagine what it must have been like for each one of those people in that scene. Reflect on what must have been their sentiments on that day, and ponder their experience of the birth of Christ. Think about, for example, what it must have been like for Mary when the angel Gabriel visited her 9 months before this and said, "The Lord is with you. Do not be afraid. The child will be called the Son of God. Nothing is impossible for God." Ponder how those words must have affected that young teenager Mary as she received that message. And also imagine Joseph and Mary in their travel, walking or riding a donkey from Nazareth to Bethlehem, which is a distance of about 80 miles or so, which is similar to the distance between San Angelo and Sweetwater. It probably would have taken them about 4 days to walk that distance, or it might have even taken more than a week if they took the long way around, or if they had to travel particularly slowly because of the fact that Mary was close to the end of her pregnancy and they would have needed to go more carefully. Imagine what it was like for them when they got to Bethlehem and they're looking for a place to stay, and they're getting turned away, one place after the next. And then imagine what it must have been like for them as this young couple eventually having to stay in a barn with the animals. Imagine all the sights and the sounds and the lovely smells. And imagine what it was like for the baby Jesus that day, in very humble surroundings, safe in the loving arms of his mother. Think also about what Joseph must have gone through. As this man with this young woman, he's now taking care of her and this baby. He's going to raise this child as his own. Think of all of his experiences, his dreams, his fears, his dedication to taking care of them. Also consider the curiosity of the animals and the joy of the shepherds. And put yourself in the place of those wise men. And like them, you think about what personal gift you want to give Jesus as an expression of your love for him. You could also, as a part of your contemplative Christmas, pray the joyful mysteries of the Rosary, either by yourself or maybe with someone else. And on your contemplative Christmas, consider doing some writing. Maybe a letter to Jesus, or to Mary, or to Joseph. Maybe you might compose a poem or a prayer, or maybe a song. Consider writing in your own personal journal about your experiences during this very unusual year of 2020. Or perhaps you might decide on Christmas Day to write a message to someone that you love who needs to hear from you. Even if you're not able to get together with the entire gang of all your loved ones, dedicate yourself to spending some quality time with the few that you might be able to get together with, sharing with them, and really listening to them. Maybe you get in the car that day and drive around to see the Christmas lights around your town. And allow those lights to proclaim that Jesus Christ is the light of the world. He is a light shining in the darkness. You might be able to connect with people on Christmas through a phone call, or through FaceTime, or maybe through some kind of a video conference. That can be wonderful. And for those of you who are not able to come to church, we'll still have lots of opportunities for you to participate in the Mass through live streaming online. So whether you can come to Christmas Mass in person or you need to stay home, approach the day with a spirit of simplicity and humility and joy, and have a peaceful, contemplative Christmas.